Today, between 2 contracts and a few coins earned at the price of blood, I find myself with an unexpected opportunity, a reward, an artifact, or rather, a chance to step into this very journey. I have no need to keep it for myself alone. So tell me, traveler, what draws you to this world? Its mysteries, its dangers, or the stories it still holds? Write it in the comments, and perhaps the next one to walk these hostile lands will be you. In my next journal entry, a name will be chosen. As we approach the indicated area, I see my men preparing, especially Renkailon, who, despite his research, continues his combat training. Another who doesn't hold back is Harvek, who with his insectoid arm wreaks havoc. After all, he spends a lot of time fighting with Gorgoro and Skornar, who are both excellent fighters. As for me, I spend my time becoming a better Vagrus, learning to lead my men more effectively. A small stone forest is visible on the horizon. Supposedly, the hidden camp of Corneus Serpentis is in there. The Comitatus is camped behind jagged rock formations, and I think that I can approach without being seen. My scouts return from a preliminary sweep and confirm that an outpost is inside the forest of rock spires. A large, well-armed war band is guarding the place.
All right, men. Based on our previous encounters, they're not to be taken lightly. No bravado. No unnecessary risks. If you get the chance to kill, take it.
Forward, everyone.
I follow my warriors and approach the camp. Once inside the forest, Finndurarth approaches me, a little out of breath from the brisk pace of the advance.
Vagrus, I gave this quite a lot of thought. I know what I said before, that we have to defeat them, to strike back even. But now I believe that perhaps talking to them is the better alternative. Would you be willing to give me the chance? I know that it is dangerous, but I'll be safe behind my sorceress shield, so you don't need to worry.
No, Finndurarth. That's a risk I won't take. Not after seeing what they're capable of.
As you wish. You are the battle commander, and you are here on my behalf. So I'll bow to your will.
Once everyone is in position, I signal the attack. My warriors and companions rush at the wall to catch the mercenaries by surprise and trigger their trap. The Corneus Serpentis was clearly warned of my attack and have prepared for it, which I realize as I scale the low wall with my fighters and run into pit traps, archer fire, and hidden reinforcements. Luto, their leader, commands them from the center of the camp. He is joined by a renegade dragon mage who apparently works for him. One thing is for sure, these veteran killers will not go down easily. Thanks to the element of surprise, we manage to even the odds, and I can lead a small group to kill their leader. Barely out of their makeshift building, Renkailon pointed at the enemy mage, while Gorgoro struck into the melee. A surge of energy swept through my ranks, while Garrick fired at the designated target. Once the element of surprise has passed, arrows and bursts of energy fly in all directions, and several of my companions are hit. Gorgoro was thrown to the ground by an orc, who was then set ablaze by Nedia before the air filled with the smell of sulfur and lightning struck. Wounded in his honor, Gorgoro charged and drove his axe into the orc, who at the same moment was stabbed in the side. Knocked out just before, Harvek couldn't avoid the magical projectile, while the enemy orc still stands despite Finndurarth's magic. In the end, the orc perished in the flames. I notice that their magic weakens and slows down as Garrick dodges many of their projectiles. With one less orc, Gorgoro charged even harder, but this time at the mage. In a bad position, one of his allies stepped in and bitterly regretted it when Garrick's shot struck him head-on. Being on the ground, the mage was an easy target for Renkaelon, who finished him off with a knife throw, while Nedir and Finndurarth unleashed hell on earth with their magic. Wounded by Garrick, a third enemy perished under Gorgoro's strength. Seriously wounded, Harvek creates a diversion with his dagger to take cover. Outnumbered, they begin to falter as the noose tightens, my men striking relentlessly and leaving them no room to breathe, until a fourth enemy is brought down. Renkaelon and Harvek decided to circle the one on the left, aiming for vital points, while on the other side, Garrick fired straight into an enemy's chest. Driven by desperation, the two survivors dodged my men's attacks and shots, until finally, Renkaelon killed one of them. Alone and surrounded, my men gave the last survivor no chance, and he was slain by an axe blow to the chest. Without a chain of command, the enemy forces quickly fall into disarray. I order my men not to pursue the fleeing enemies. The desert will take care of them. I go among my men to assess our losses. Fortunately, they are minimal. Many prisoners are taken today, and an inventory begins. Resources are stacked, mounts are lined up, and every corner of their camp is searched. After a long and bloody battle, the Serpentis mercenaries are utterly defeated, and I secure their walled compound. Luto and his mage are dead, their corpses placed next to all the others at the north wall. Yet several of the foes survived, now being corralled into a hut I designated to be a holding cell. It doesn't take long for a few of them to break and start talking. Unfortunately, no one knows who their employer is, until Finndurarth asks that question.
Why was my comitatus targeted?
Yours? That was just one of the targets, I know that much. We had others on the list, envoys from the Dragonlands and Drag Molak, all headed to some meeting or some shit.
What? What happened to the other targets?
Fueled by anger, electricity crackles into her hand before she violently grabs the man by the neck.
I don't know. We haven't heard back from most of them. Yours was just the first target. The job, it's still ongoing. Not just us, other warbands too.
Finndurarth shoves the man to the ground in anger before stepping away a few paces. I cast a serious look at Harvek, positioned behind the prisoner. Finish him.
As you command.
I make my way toward Finndurarth, who is pacing restlessly, muttering to herself.
All right. I have been keeping you in the dark long enough, but now I'm afraid that it has done more harm than good. I'll explain this as best I can, although I have to admit that I do not have all the pieces myself. Some time ago, Hatherdos was contacted by our higher-ups and briefed on a diplomatic situation that is, let us say, out of the ordinary. Most of our work involves dealing with Imperials or other Dragon Lords' agendas, but this time it involved Vagrus.
Finndurarth waits for my reaction and smiles knowingly.
I was shocked myself. Ogres! Most of us think of them as savage mutants, but not all of their race has turned to monsters thanks to the taint, and apparently, some of them live in the outer realms. They have a city there, according to our research. We were told that the Ogres are looking for allies in the Riven realms in a bid to establish a colony of sorts. And it would seem that Dragmalak was contacted by them years ago, but the black brood of mighty Cromagonis mishandled them somehow, and so now the Dragonlands are also involved. Talks were to take place between Dragmalak, the Dragonlands, and the envoys of the Ogres regarding this bridgehead colony. Yet the Dragonlands are not as united in this endeavor as one might think. And out of the 5 broods, only a few, including the blue one, decided to get into talks. Hathardos was given the task of traveling to the location where we'd meet and the Ogres can present their case.
I consider all Finndurarth has said, as she pauses for a moment.
I was not sure why the location of the meeting is such a secret, or why it is not in Dragmalak proper, but Hathardos thought it has to do with the relatively small importance of the matter and the distrust between the involved parties. Certainly, there is distrust between my country and that of the Black Dragon Lord. So, now you know what I know. In hindsight, the secrecy was probably justified. The attempt on my life and the murder of Hathardos proves that someone does not want this meeting to take place. My guess was the Imperials, as you know.
What do you want to do now?
Well, that's the most important question, is it not? So, now it is clear that the envoys to this conclave are targeted by assassins, but we still have no idea who wants to sabotage the effort. It was foolish not to report my failure and Hathardos' death, but I was blinded by my ambition to get to the bottom of this myself. I've clearly underestimated the threat. I'm afraid I've endangered too many people. Ogres, diplomats, soldiers. I beg of you, please help me warn the conclave.
How would that even be possible? We don't even know where the meeting is supposed to take place. The contact who was meant to guide you and your master there is dead in Kernak.
Well, I know how to contact Cadmador. My contact belonged to them, and I know that they are the ones arranging the conclave. They keep an agent in Fort Refugius at all times. That person will know how to contact the rest of the organization and warn them of the assassins. I'm afraid that if we were to go to the Dragonlands first, it would be too late by the time they ponder these events and contact the Black Brood.
Upon some reflection, I tell Finndurarth that I will take her there. With the business here concluded, I load up all the valuables and supplies I find here and head back to the Comitatus. And I must say, I will make a tremendous profit from this. They had many mounts, which we will put to good use to carry everything of value from this camp. Nevertheless, we will be traveling more slowly in the coming days due to the lack of manpower.
Vagrus, we should discuss how to explore the Temple of the Sleeper, and above all, how to come back alive.
I'm listening. How do you plan to proceed?
Thanks to Askel.
What do you mean?
What better ally than the god of death to help us face the dead? He does not tolerate undead that are not under his control, and encourages those who destroy them. His priests have the ability to bless armed forces. Perhaps, for a sum of money, they could grant us their blessing.
We shall see about that. Seeing the spires of Deven reassures me, as we won't have to slaughter a mount to feed ourselves tonight. Perfect. This detour for Finndurarth hasn't delayed my deliveries. I can't help a smile from appearing on my face as I watch the money in my chest multiply. Upon arriving at the inn, I terminate numerous contracts, scouts, fighters, workers, and most interestingly, the resale of 17 mounts. For all those who remain in my service, food and drink are on me tonight. As I unload my obsidian cargo, I see the Prince's majordomo walking toward me.
His Majesty Prince Lekor would like to see you.
Of course, I will follow you. As usual, the Prince is surrounded by his court, and they step aside as I approach.
We wanted to return some of the many favors you have done us, friend.
He beckons his majordomo over, who steps next to me and unfurls a black silken shawl to reveal an intricate gauntlet of dark metal inscribed with icy blue runes.
A tool of our enemies, the Varukai. Their warlocks worked tirelessly for many generations, sacrificed countless slaves to their demonic masters, and delved into the darkest of knowledge to eventually produce a few of these gauntlets. They steal the essence of the dying and transfer it to the bearer. The Varukai strove to unlock the secret of immortality, but produced a cruel weapon instead. I'd much rather you have this. Who knows? It may save you or your crew one day.
Thank you for your great generosity.
You may leave.
I head for the exit and tell myself that I absolutely must show this item to Ren Kalon. But before that, I make my way to the Necropolis of the Great King. It is said that in addition to its dark, cyclopean expanse one can see, the necropolis goes on way beyond the cave, snaking tunnels and pitch-black silent corridors, leading to ossuaries, mausoleums, and all kinds of underground burial sites. Visitors are watched by carved gargoyles, stone monoliths, towering monuments, and of course a small army of novices. A constant, hushed, droning murmur can be heard in the otherwise quiet ward. Burial rites and prayers to the Great King are performed at all hours. This is also the graveyard of the city, at least for those with coin to purchase a resting place in the maze of tombs that make up most of the necropolis. I ask a friendly death priest to tell me about the king of the underworld. They are quite used to these requests, so he immediately shifts into a lecturing register.
Ashkul is the god of death, king of the underworld, who we call Great King, for he is the greatest of kings and rulers, ultimately ruling over all monarchs in death, except perhaps over the emperor, who is deathless. The elder god of death used to be Tanat, but he disappeared along with their pantheon after the calamity. Ashkul emerged and took over Tartaris, the afterlife realm where the souls of most mortals go after death. The Great King is thought to be the first of the dead, because he is said to have died before any other being in creation. He has thus unmatched power over those that die. But Ashkul is not an angry or evil god, no. He is the caretaker of souls, and the one that grants peace to mortals after they die. Our duty is to administer the proper rituals and ensure that everyone gets their deserved respect upon leaving this world.
Thank you for your time. Just behind a row of crypts is the candlemaker's shop, where citizens can buy all kinds of candles, mostly for mourning. There are special candles here, however, ones that might interest me. The novices in charge of preparing and selling these wares here inform me that the black magic candles can be used by a single person to cling to life, while the white magic candles are very effective at hiding me and mine from the undead during my travels.
Would you like to buy any of these?
I would like to have one of each. The blessing of our school is said not only to keep a cursed undead away, but also has a chance to protect those under the effects of the blessing, making them more resilient. The priests tell me that the effects usually last a week, sometimes more, sometimes less.
What do you seek from the god of death?
I want my men and myself to be as well protected as possible from the undead, and to be able to affect them if they attack us.
Do you have the means to pay?
Certainly.
Good. In that case, go with your men over there before the altar.
3 priests gather around me, and Mai comes in a quiet chamber, much like a tomb. One of the holy men leads the ritual, wielding a carved scepter made of a femur. The large black granite statue of the great king looks down upon me with indifference, but towards the end of the chanting, I can almost feel something in its cold gaze. Is it pity? Before setting out for the Temple of the Sleeper, I would like to verify a rumor in Deven. Perhaps it will allow me to obtain some spectral residue